absolutely dismantled and embarrassed. It was embarrassing for the Dallas Cowboys yesterday, 31-10.
If they win out, they could still retain the top of the AFC East, which is an absolute curious situation, Peter. Bills' dominant win over a Cowboys team that, man, look out when they leave Dallas.
The Dallas Cowboys since week 10 were averaging 40 points per game with 308 passing yards, and they won all 5 of those. Yet, that didn't stop the Bills from completely making a statement and shutting down the hottest offense in the NFL. Dallas's offense was just non-existent in this game. They had no run game to speak of. Tony Pollard ran 11 for 52 and Prescott went 4 for 27. Overall, 20 for 89, so under 100 yards. Dak Prescott had only 134 passing yards with an interception, 0 touchdowns, and took 3 sacks. Buffalo looked like the best team in the AFC in this game, and with the AFC being wide open, Buffalo has as good of a chance as anyone. There isn't a team I'm super confident in the conference outside of Baltimore, and Baltimore has had some blunders this season. But who hasn't? Miami, Kansas City, Jacksonville, and Cleveland are all beatable, and the Bills blew out the Dolphins earlier in the year, and they just beat the Chiefs. And the Jaguars, is anyone afraid of the Jags after last night? Not really. In this video, I'm going to be of course talking all about the Bills, recapping their dominating win over Dallas, and talking about what's to come for this team. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind, and your support truly does mean the world. Alright. So Buffalo's recovery to an 8-6 record is noteworthy, particularly since they were at 6-6 before facing the Chiefs and then moving on to play Dallas. The road ahead isn't that easy, with matchups against the Chargers, Patriots, and Dolphins. Facing these teams, especially division rivals like the Patriots and Dolphins, is going to be challenging. The Chargers might be slightly easier without Herbert, but it's still the NFL, and after getting shellacked like they did against the Raiders, their pride will be on the line. But despite these challenges, the way Josh Allen has turned around his season gives hope, and his ability to turn games around is crazy to watch. This season, Allen's stats, including 25 touchdowns, have been somewhat overlooked. Against the Cowboys, he threw for only 94 yards, but made a few good runs, and his versatility and use of his legs have always been a strength. Allen's 93.4 passer rating surpasses even Patrick Mahomes, and with throw in the final score. And with how dominant they were running the ball, he didn't really even need to throw much, so that explains the 94 yards. To get into a quick recap of the game, in case you missed it, the Bills got on the board quickly with a 2-yard rush into the end zone by Latavius Murray, and then after that, in the second, they went up 14-0 off, and they had the Cowboys absolutely shell-shocked. It looked like they didn't even know what hit them. I really thought Dallas was the team to be in the NFC before this game, but man, the NFL gets wild sometimes, and I know Stephen A. Smith was loving it. Anyways, the biggest story for the Bills is not even Josh Allen. As much as I like him, it's James Cook. Remember, the Bills let go of their offensive coordinator Dorsey, and the new one they promoted is starting to get James Cook going. He had 25 for 179 and a touchdown in this. Also, 2 for 42 and a touchdown out of the backfield as a receiver. Remember, he didn't have one against the Chiefs, Eagles, Jets, or Broncos, so clearly he needed to get more involved, and they've been doing that. Obviously, he's the brother of Dalvin Cook, so being a running back is just in his genes, and he's just a very elusive player. You put the ball into his hands, he can make plays, and he's done exactly that for Buffalo. Moving on to Stefon Diggs, who has been quiet this season, had an amazing one-handed catch with his left in this game. It was truly just incredible. But Diggs, last season, I want to say went for over 1,400 yards, and this year just hasn't been the same. And he only had 4 for 48 in the game, albeit they didn't really need to throw. But it hasn't been a bad season at all, and overall, he's had 993 yards. That's 13th in the NFL. So like I said, it's not like he's been quiet, but for Diggs' standards, that is low. He's still top 9 in receptions, you know, tied for 6 in touchdowns. Diggs is still having an unbelievable season for receivers, but the Bills are trying to be a little bit less predictable and get the ball into other guys' hands. Anyways, now switching gears, the defense for Buffalo was just absolutely locked down. The front dominated the game, controlling the line of scrimmage throughout. The secondary was incredible, and the Bills are doing this, of course, with injuries. They're missing one of the best corners in the NFL right now, Tre'Davious White. They're also without Khair Elam, the young corner. They've gotten production from Douglas, the former Packer, who is very good in his own right. I want to say he was with the Cardinals before the Packers. He's kind of bounced around, but he's been a big-time player. We did get to see a bit of DeMar Hamlin in this game, which is cool. They're also without Matt Milano, arguably the best cover linebacker in the league. Then of course, you've got AJ Epinesa, who is out of this game, and you know, Poona Ford, Daquan Jones, they're dealing with injuries. But Von Miller of course came back, and you've got just a tremendous defensive front, and Ed Oliver is one of the best in the game. So for Buffalo, this is the team we expected them to be the entire year, and they're finally starting to get it to click. And I still don't think they are even remotely close to what they can be. But they're starting to beat some very good and elite teams. Like we talk about the Cowboys, they've beaten just one team with a winning record, and it was the struggling Seahawks. Well, the Bills just beat 2 of them in a row, and they completely got robbed against the Eagles. I'll be the first to tell you that. So Buffalo, watch out for them. And I'll be honest, I'm a Browns fan, and I don't want to face this team come playoff time. But I will be rooting for them because I've always sort of related with what the fans go through. But yeah, I would even rather play the Ravens because Cleveland has already shown they can beat them. But like, the Bills, there's just something about them where when they're clicking, they're just unstoppable. With the way James Cook is playing, and then the defense, and Diggs, there's just no weakness right now. And when Josh Allen isn't turning the ball over, we saw today what he is capable of doing. That's just running up the score. And like I said a million times, Allen didn't even have to throw the ball. It was simply the run game that was killing the Cowboys. That's really all I have to say for this video. I cannot wait to see how the rest of this season finishes out for Buffalo because they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now, and they have been super fun to watch. If you made it to this point, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly means the world. And also, with the NFL season really ramping up right now, there is just so much to talk about, so let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.